Well, hello, hello, hello. It is that time. I am doing a late segment and live broadcast of Ready, Set, Real Estate. We are in season 3 right now, and I'm so excited that you guys are continually joining me. Say hi, say hello, shout out. I wanted to make sure I come on and share some updates, some changes, some exciting things that are in store. I'm going to take off my glasses just a little bit because I see the glare. For those of you who are tuning in on the radio podcast, really appreciate you. Shout out to, I see you guys are loading up. Hello. So Angela, Alyssa, my two favorite babies from the Nunez family. Cindy is my love, past client, repeat client, and a huge supporter. So I love you, love you, love you. Mark Williams, thank you. Maisha, hello. Daryl Crockett Buck, hello. He says, hello, Queen. Hello, hello to you. So season 3, episode 13. This is going to be, I'm going to conclude and close out season 3 with today's segment and episode. And I think it's timely and much needed. So for those of you who are tuning in on Ready, Set, Real Estate, yes, this is the part of the show that airs every Wednesday, discussing the flips, flops, booms, and busts of all of those exciting and tumultuous things in the real estate industry. In the past, we have featured over 60 careers in real estate that do not involve the real estate professional. If you're new to me, welcome, say hi, say hello. My name's Lisa Puerto, known as Super Agent, international speaker, public educator, and creator and founder of Real Estate 100 Youth Foundation, which many of you online have already donated and supported. We are a tax-exempt organization, so yes. Thank you for continually supporting. Shout out to LaTanya over there at Southwest Escrow, Jerome Wiley. Hello. Make sure you share this. Let somebody know that I'm coming on. And again, you can subscribe at the youtube.com/LA Superagent, or check out anchor.fm/LA Superagent, or check out LASuperagent.com, where you can shop for merch, books, webinars, courses, workshops, and join the club. That's the Ready, Set, Real Estate Club. So we've had an exciting past season already. We talked about ADUs and granny flats, what you needed to know. If you have had the time, to really go and check out the 5-part series we did with Sean Smith and Joseph LaDuff of Your Dream ADU. That was phenomenal. We definitely did a cross promotion with ERGJ Enterprises, where I was featured on his show. We discussed and I shared gems on how to hack student loans and come out a property owner in year 4, year 5, even as a graduating student, I should say. So a lot of gems dropped there. Shout out to my cousin. Shout out to my family. Hey, Andre, welcome. So today I just wanted to come on, and I really want to share something significant because I just put a client under contract, and sometimes in your real estate transactions, there is this thing called closing costs. And for those of you who have never purchased, do know that you've got to be prepared with this thing called closing costs, which comes in the forms of additional fees, taxes, insurance, prorations, miscellaneous fees, anything that involves closing that real estate transaction. I got some real estate professionals who are tuning in on here, so I welcome for you to chime in and just kind of give us some examples. That way the people can know and see what they need to prepare for, because most people always discuss down payment. It's pounded in your head that you just think down payment. But let me give you this analogy. And I do this for the youth as well. The kids that I teach real estate, the 11-year-olds, I give this example. So I want to share this example with you. When you go to a store, you know how much an item costs. Do you go with the exact amount? Whatever that is, out grocery store shopping, clothing shopping, car shopping, do you just show up with the exact dollar amount? No, because there's an additional thing, at least in the state of California, called taxes. Yes, we have those things called taxes, which are additional, either registration fees or any fees that get tacked on. In real estate, you've got to be prepared to pay an additional 2 to 3% in closing costs. All right, so press 1 if you've ever heard this thing called closing costs. let me know. That way I just kind of want to see where people are. If you're tuning in, please hashtag replay. That way I know you're on. That way I can definitely support and respond. Latanya says figure about 3.5% of the sales price for closing costs. And that's on the high end because she's factoring potential FHA loans. FHA loans, while most of you know as the getting your foot in the door home loan or the first time home buyer loan program, that loan is in reality, it's an expensive product. It's an expensive product. Why? Because let's say I'm the bank, I'm the lender. You're borrowing money from me. You're bringing $3.50 to the table. I'm bringing $96.50 to the table. Who has more to lose? Me. So I'm going to charge you a risk premium, and you have risk premiums in the FHA insured loan, which is why that closing cost can amount to 3.5%. I'm sharing this because depending on the environment, the real estate environment you're in, you can either get that negotiated for and paid for, which I have. And that's why I want to share this story with you today, because I just put a client under contract. She only has enough for down payment. I kicked in. How many real estate professionals kick into the deal to make it possible? I do, and I'm happy to do that. And for those of you who are listening, learning, looking, you are definitely welcome to work with me because I am that person that's going to make it possible. I want to make sure I'm helping you achieve homeownership. The reason why that's important for me from a service standpoint and a giving standpoint is because you'll spend more time saving for down payment and closing costs than I will working to represent you to secure and close on your purchase. On average right now, we're looking at deals anywhere from 21 to 60 days, right? You spent years to stack your money, and to come in and have to pay that additional amount, I definitely negotiate asking the seller for what we call seller credits. Seller credits are so helpful and can be used in various forms. So with my client, I currently managed to negotiate getting her $6,800 towards her closing costs. Purchase price is less than $300,000, so that's about right. Her closing costs, we factor in about 2.5% of the purchase price, and so $6,800 we came up with. You hear that? That's not out of her pocket. We came up with $6,800 in the deal. The seller kicks in, the lender issued a credit, and I issued a credit, and I wouldn't be surprised that I'm laughing right now because I just realized my headphones is plugged into my phone, and I thought it was plugged into my laptop, so it's all right. And even the listing agent who represents the seller can kick into the transaction. Even though I've said this in various forms on my webinars, my workshops, my past shows, I feel I need to say this over and over again because no matter how many times I say it, for some reason, people are getting stuck, they're getting tripped up over not having the closing costs. And I'm going to say this, she was working with another agent. I'm not one to count other people's money, but I did say to her, you should consult that agent because one, she found the property, right? It's like kind of give and take right now. We're in a very interesting environment because you guys have access to the properties. You have access to more properties than we do on occasion because of the lack of what I call reciprocity between these different systems. Yes, we have real time. However, some of these systems have access to things that are coming directly from for sale by owners. Whole nother conversation, whole nother topic. But with that being said, I shared with her and said, the seller, or I should say can speak with your agent. Ask your agent, can they help? And so she said to me, Lisa, he didn't even bring it up. Needless to say, she canceled that deal, didn't work out, put her money out. She came with me. I got her under contract within less than a week of her canceling that last escrow with that last agent. She learned she had some bumps and bruises that she learned. And I just wanted to share a snippet of her story. I'm going to bring her on the show when we conclude her purchase because I think she has a phenomenal story. I think it's inspiring. And I was inspired to come on and discuss closing costs because she said to me, maybe the agent doesn't know he can do that. Do know that the lender says in terms of the loans, any third party, look, I'm like any third party, any third party can kick in to the deal when it comes to assisting buyers/borrowers to completing their purchase. If you're using low down payment programs, in the example as a down payment assistance program, you can bring in as little as 1%. I'm going to bring on an expert to talk about that and more some of the programs, because there's over 60 programs out here. There's money out here. You have to work with lenders that are approved to access that money. Not all lenders have access to that money because they don't attend the trainings, they don't renew themselves. There's a process to be versed in how to use these programs. So don't be dissuaded. I know you've all been bombarded with the big banks who have big pockets, deep pockets, to run the ads and run the commercials. And the first thing you do when you think of homeownership, because of branding, it was working, it works so well, you go to the big bank, they deny you, and then you go, oh, I tried. Actually, my client on here, my client and my dear friend, that was her experience. And Cindy, I'm still trying to get you on my show, you got to tell your story. She's a repeat client, and it was so much fun to sell her property, get her, resell it. We bought it, sold it, and put it in another property, and all of that was really fun and exciting. And she did that. I think you were 23, right? If you're still on listening, I think she was 23. And I've said this to her. She, at that time, that was over 12 years ago, I think, 10 or 12 years ago, maybe a little less, something like that. But at that time, she was one of my youngest clients. So I was completely inspired and love her. And that's an example of how I become an extension of my clients, become friends and family. And she knows to call on me for anything. No guesses. There's no guessing when it comes to real estate. So with that being said, I wanted to close off season 3 as we get to start season 4. I'm only going in 12, 13 episodes a pop. I mean, when I first started Ready, Set, Real Estate, I knocked out 40 or 50 episodes straight. Boom. And I was like, maybe I need to break these up into seasons, because people are asking me, do I remember which episode number and stuff like that. So in order for me to keep up, we're doing them by seasons. And so far I have not repeated an episode or topic. So in terms of number, this is going to be video 91 of Ready, Set, Real Estate. And if you're following me and connected with me on the personal development, Shift Your Thinking, we are going to conclude 155 today. So, and I have some other stuff happening as well in terms of content. So I'm excited to share with you that as I get her under contract, we're making this home ownership possible, and we're that much closer. Why? Because we asked for the money. We asked for the money. And ask for it, all the seller can do is say no. And guess what? You move on. You move on. You definitely don't have to feel like, it's not going to work or it's not going to happen. And that's one of the things that I wanted to share with you today. As far as closing costs. Closing costs, very, very important. When you're using conventional loan products, you can factor in about 2% on the conventional loan products. And everything depends on purchase price point. And let me say this, there are some things in the estimate and closing costs that are negotiable. I've got an escrow officer, she's still on. She knows that you guys do what is called padding. You pad it just to make sure there's more money in the deal than not. And guess what? She and other escrow officers happily get to cut a refund check back to the buyer. As a matter of fact, Cindy also had that story as well. Cindy and Eric had that story. I think Eric got back $600 something from his escrow. I've had clients get back $1,000, $1,500. So that's the good news. You get money back in the deal. Yes, it's yours to keep. Nobody's gonna come haunt you for it. It just means that they had enough padding in there to pay out any last minute expenses, if any popped up. And rather than going back to people saying, oh, we need more money, they do what is called padding, okay? So closing costs, that's something you want to be prepared for, because if you come into this with just down payment, it's not going to cut it. It's not going to cut it. Somebody has to cover the closing costs, albeit they're paid all for you by the seller or the agents in the deal, or there's a lender credit, or there's some other third party that's gifting you funds. Do know the closing costs still have to get paid. All right, I'm open for questions for those of you who are still on. I'm happy to answer any things that may come to mind. Make sure you share the video and like, subscribe on the YouTube if you're a YouTuber. And like I said, season 4, we're gonna kick it off with a lot more fun and some really heavy content as well, because real estate is a $1.3 trillion industry. Our industry is constantly under attack. We're constantly being sued, under the limelight. There's constant changes. There's tons of revisions, updates, and this is something that is constant, which means that's what excites me about having my own shows, because I have a lifetime of content in real estate. I don't need to bang my head and make up this stuff, because you guys, like, every single day in my day-to-day business, I'm learning something new. I'm improving myself as a professional. I get to connect with other industry professionals, and it continues to be my joy and my love, and I'm using my platform to share that with you. All right, so let me scroll down here. I actually was not noticing. So what's going on? So she's like, okay, so Cindy's like, if anyone can do it, you definitely can, definitely. So she said she was 24, by the way, when they purchased. And since then, I mean, balling out in equity right now. Serious, y'all know that, right? Y'all balling in equity right now. Latanya says, yes, I'm here, so great. She says, Latanya shared, she says, we do a $300 pad. So yes, thank you for that, thank you. One day when I do these lives, I'm gonna get somebody to moderate and come in here and like all your comments and everything and share. So $300 padding, and it's good to know, because you may feel like, all right, I have to come up with a down payment plus the closing cost. There's ways around it, but here's what I really want to cover, and I'm gonna cover this next week. I'm gonna air this on Wednesday. I'm going to have this really heavy conversation. For those of you who have not purchased yet, and those of you who are listening on the replay as industry professionals, I'm gonna ask this question. Your client has to come up with down payment. That's 3.5%. If they go 5%, or 3% with 680 FICO score, you can go 3% on a conventional product, 3.5% with 580 FICO score on an FHA product, 0% if you're VA or veteran. But we do recommend that you bring something to the table that effectively you ended up getting credited back to you, okay? And then you have, of course, USDA loan products when you're buying farmland and agriculture. And also, I wanted to say, with those loan products, you have the closing costs attached. You have the closing costs attached. Now, that's, let's say, regular transaction. Everybody knows the first time home buyer stuff. 3.5%. All right, you got 3.5%. Now you got closing costs. Let's say you're in a seller's market. Seller says, I'm not gonna give up any money. You pay for your closing costs. Okay, so now you gotta come up with another 3%. So you're at 6.5% of the purchase price. And let's do the math, right? So I'm just gonna, just for example purposes, I'm gonna pop up my calculator, because I am live and I'm just going off the top of my dome right now. I'm just sharing off the top of my dome. So let's say we are in California, average purchase price, let's say median, but I'm not gonna do median. Median price of a home right now is $525,000. Median price of a home in California, $525,000. You need an income of I believe it's $125,000 right now. So that's 2 income households. What we see happening at that price point is a lot of what we call a lot of upgrades, trade ups. People are selling their property, they're taking the equity and they're putting it towards a down payment of their new house. So essentially they fare out, right? They will end up having a $300,000 mortgage because they're putting down $200,000 because they have that much equity in the home. So in this scenario, I'm going to go with $400,000. I know you guys are gonna say, Lisa, where am I gonna get, what do I get for 400,000? Depends where, okay? Shout out to Thomas TJ Lofton, who has this quote. He said, LA County is expensive, California isn't. So remember, on the outskirts of LA County, you can still buy properties for 150,000 and up. You can still get properties. Do you wanna do the travel and commute? I don't know. If you have a job that allows you to work remotely, then we have that. That's a growing popularity right now. That might be something you want to look into. Or you might want to reconsider your definition of what home looks like. Condo, co-ops, townhomes, the price point is lower. And it gives you the ability to step in and put your foot in the door. All right, with that being said, so I'm going to go with 400,000. Really, what will get you in a game right now is about 435,000. 425, anywhere from 400 to 450,000 is a very competitive price point right now. And that, depending where, that'll be anywhere from a 2-bedroom. You'd be lucky if you get a 3-bedroom. So with those numbers, I want a round number, 400,000